But was there anything else, or can we now zoom in on how operations went on the day?
Yes. I mean, for instance, in terms of the rail system, and I give massive credit to genius Yaira Koku and genius Dr. Atta Boateng. They were our two IT guys, supported by 6 young people. And this once again demonstrates President Mohammed's view that we must indigenize technology development. Everything that was done was brewed locally.
The software was developed here?
Yeah. Everything that was done was brewed
by
locally.
Which company?
Company? Unless they want to call it a company. Yaira Koku, Atta Boateng.
Company Limited.
Yaira Koku had been put to it in 2021.
Okay.
So I was called by my boss somewhere July 2021 to meet Yaira and try and bring more practical perspectives to the tech thing that he was doing. You know, technology people can go tech, yeah. So we began meeting. While the meeting was ongoing, I felt, okay, if you are able to introduce a technology sparring, you may have the best out of the two. So Dr. Atta Boateng was the Director General for NITA.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also already working on something. So I said, Atta, also continue working on it. So I was meeting them separately, talking to them, blah, 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 raising issues. Then at a point in time, I brought in Standogbe. We met Yaira, we met Dr. Atta Boateng, still separately, and finally brought them together and set them up to spar. Mm-hmm. So they said, well, go and work together and harmonize your system. So they harmonized it, wonderful topology. The nodes and the connections, super, to ensure free flow of information. For those who don't understand what I'm describing, they may think I'm putting out so much information. But what I'm putting out, you cannot trace it to go and reproduce what was done. So if people are anxious, they should relax. So the two of them who had developed 2 different systems, all very good, then decided to come together.
Okay.
And enhance. So the final outcome was the brainchild of what the 2 gentlemen had done. And I would say that by the Asin North by-election, the system was ready.
Okay.
The system was ready, and that's what was used during the Asin North by-election. And if there's anything that stressed us, it was what I call coalition entrepreneurs. People thought it was a cash cow. And so all kinds of proposals come and say, look, we are not commercializing this. And in fact, they have taken not a dime for what they built. We are not commercializing it. We want people who see it as a vocation, people who really are committed. They want to help, so they are developing something. Because if you come with a commercial mindset, what shows that if our opponents give you
more money,
you are not going to sell it to them.
Yeah.
So it was brewed locally, and I commend these technology geniuses for the work that they did, and also there are younger ones behind whose names I cannot mention because they don't have the political muscle to stand. As for Yaira and Dr. Atta Boateng, they are my 2 deputies on the IT side, so they're already well known. That helped, and once again, this also shows the kind of support that we had from the principal, John Mahama. He was more assertive. He took his destiny into his own hands and ensured that the technology that was being developed was being supervised by somebody who is more closer to his office. So we ensured that was also done. Subsequently, I think what also helped was the engagement, constant engagement. And if there is any platform that we should give thanks to, then maybe it's the WhatsApp platform, the groups, because several groups, regional directors and deputies group, this group, that group. So information dissemination, where people have disagreements, they will share them. You have to take your time and read patiently and sift out what they really mean. Experienced people, MPs like Okudzeto Ablakwa, Akando, Sam George, also came in with their perspectives to show that, okay, so perfect I designed, but how about the person who is carrying the pink sheet from the polling station to the NDC Coalition Center? What if that person is attacked? That has nothing to do with IT.
True.
And that was very profound. What if that person is attacked? We pass on that information to the security committee of the party, that we want protection. As much as we want protection for the polling agents and everything, we also need protection for the people who will be carrying the pink sheets to the Constituency Coalition Center. And to date, we've not had anyone who was attacked because of the good job that the security committee also did by ensuring that people from the polling stations, because for every polling station we have branch executives there, they accompanied the people who were transmitting the pink sheet to the NDC Coalition Center. Again, there are times that, based on the device that you are using, if this is the device that you've been using for like 4 years, blah, 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 it has all kinds of things on it. Worms and viruses that you may not even know. If you are going to use that kind of device for collation, you should expect that you may have HS on D-Day. And when one device is infected, it can get into the network system and maybe affect the whole system. Because of that, as early as February this year, all the laptops that were needed, and I won't put the figure out for this particular exercise, had already arrived in the country.
Won't it be 276?
They were more than that.
Okay.
Had already arrived in the country.
Plus backup, yes.
Had already arrived in the country and worked on. Because what if they didn't come early? And Mr. Government, I decided to either intercept or transship or whatever.
So how early did they come again?
They came in very early. They came in very, very early. They came in very, very early. And these laptops only got to the constituencies on the 5th of December. We kept them.
They're protected.
And individuals who were trained specifically for handling the laptops took them and went to sit in the constituencies to help the constituencies to collate. So even though we had very competent constituency election directors and deputies, and all our deputies are IT people, we still sent IT people to every constituency to go and assist with the collation. And in fact, initially we thought we were going to achieve 85% by 11:30 p.m. Yaira was always fighting with me that, boss, it will be earlier, and blah, 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 blah. Kojo, by 7 p.m., I knew we had won. Not that we had collated 85%. No, we had not collated. By 7 p.m., we had collated about 20,000. But there was an analytic
aspect.
20,000
polling stations. Yeah. But there was an analytic aspect of it where we were calculating the variance for every polling station. Mahama 2020, Mahama 2024. Bawumia was serving, Akufo-Addo was serving as a proxy for Bawumia. So Bawumia 2024, Akufo-Addo 2020. If you subtract. So the global subtraction, by 7 p.m., Mahama was at plus 18%. Bawumia was like minus 19%. So we knew that the variance was in our favor. And for him to climb all the way from the negative to get to zero before he will be moving up, when we were at 20,000 polling stations and a little over that. Mm-hmm. And for JM to be dropping from his 18 plus 18% all the way till he gets to zero before he begins to record a deficit, we would have crossed
the 40,000.
Yeah, the 40,000. So for us, by 7 p.m., for us at the exact location where the real engine was, not what was advertised as the call center,
the decoy call center,
as the call center with over 100 people responding. Of course, you find racks there, you find servers there and everything. But if anybody, permit my saying, got mad and went and ransacked the place and took away the racks and everything, the person would have done nothing to our system. Secondly, even where we were, if anybody still came there and ransacked where we were, the person would have still done nothing to our system, because there was another thing somewhere that was also a redundancy. Don't forget. Don't forget
is it 2
that.
or 3?
I cannot tell you.
Some say 3.
I cannot tell
Others
you.
have even gone to say there were 5.
I cannot,
there have even stations in other regions.
I cannot state the exact figure, but don't forget that I was the Minister for Communications who built the National Data Center and put a disaster recovery center
elsewhere
in a region very far away from Greater Accra. So all those things came to bear.
So it's true that you had another center in
I don't know. I don't know.
It's easy to
you know, but you won't tell.
So, would you say you had a superior system compared to that of the MPP?
I don't want to say that. What I know is our system was too fast.
Okay.
And perhaps this is what being in government does to you. Just imagine the number of training sessions that we had. Understand? Being in government
would be too busy.
Maybe they were too busy also with other things and everything. I give the credit to our soldiers on the ground, as in the polling agents and the ward coalition officers and the constituency executives and regional executives who also supervise them to ensure. I'm not the type who is going to boast that our system was superior. The most important.
Was there any attempt to hack it?
We didn't experience any attempt because, like I said earlier, we have sent a clear signal to them that, look, let's all play it fair. If we sense the slightest signal of attack, our response will be short, sharp, but terrifying. It will be disproportionate.
You're still not telling us what that response would have been.
Oh, I'm sure they knew exactly what it was going to be.
But we don't. So tell us.
You don't need to know. Oh. The good thing, the good thing is that
we certainly want to know what we've avoided.
The good thing is that thing is that sanity prevailed. Their system did not crash. Our system did not crash, and we all.
We saw first results at 36,000 or so police stations.
Yeah.
We saw that.
Yeah.
Between that and the next communication, there was a huge gap.
Yeah.
Some suspect that was the time that your system was actually attacked.
It was not.
Really?
It was not. I wish I brought my tablet here. And beyond the devices that we sent around, we also provided tablets for 300 key people, including the lawyers that we also sent to every constituency.
Okay.
So every constituency in Ghana had a lawyer who is sympathetic towards the NDC, who was holding that tablet and could observe.
Like
yes.
Oh yes. But they had a forum for NDC lawyers, and so many people showed up.
And,
of course.
And the lawyers were fantastic. My tablet is still by my bedside. You understand? And look, maybe it is what you're observing. And even when that screenshot was sent out, we personally felt it was even inappropriate that it was purposefully for their internal review.
Okay.
But somebody erred by sending it out. Why? Because we believe in 2020 a certain premature disclosure of the seats that we had won made the NPP do the kinds of things that they did to snatch some of those seats from us. So we were careful not to prematurely. And there's a reason, to date, even in this interview, I've been talking about we've crossed 2/3 a majority without putting a figure to it. Yesterday, even when senior people were asking me, how many seats have we won? I was prevaricating. Less someone, because you don't want to put out that kind of information because
we know
the
there are 9 outstanding. We know there are 9 outstanding.
How do you know there are 9 outstanding?
The EC boss said it.
Let's count them. As at what time?
That's yesterday.
Yeah. At what time?
Not at the time she declared the election. Yeah.
So
no.
Yesterday.
No. So that's referring to the presidential.
Yeah.
We are talking about the
parliamentary.
Yeah, the parliamentary.
There are 2 that nobody knows what's happening to them, that they refer to the National Center.
Yes, I'm sure you are referring to the Ashanti region ones. Yes. But we know we've won them.
I'm sure the NPP says the same too.
Exactly.
But,
So let's all come to the National Center and discuss.
Now, I was talking about systems and delivery. Yeah. When the 36,000 got out, we had not seen anything from the NPP at the time.
Yes. Do you know when GM finally came to this site? He came to this site around 11 p.m. And those were the clips that you saw. I was with him. At that time, we had done like 39,600 and something. So we had gone. You see, somebody, Ed, and this is a very hard-working person, you don't throw the baby away with the bath water. You understand? And Fifi Kwete was the first person who alerted me. He said, why is this thing out? And I said, I don't, until he sent it to me. And we know the one who sent it out. But this is a very hard-working, he's worked very hard over the past 4 years. You don't punish him because of this. The good thing is that we were able to contain it. And there's a reason. Otherwise, by 11 p.m., you could have gotten another one, around 39,600.
So you knew from about 7 p.m.
By 7 p.m.
By your models.
Based on the model. And that was purely based on modeling.
Okay.
But by 11 p.m., we had crossed 90% of the polling stations. And that one, we knew the gold was in the bag, not in theory.
Dr. Edward Omane Boamah is walking us through what happened behind the curtain while the NDC was turning the map green in the last election. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll find out from him what didn't go so well, what could have been done even better. Stay with us.
Stan and I had gone to Ashanti region to support the team there. We had taken the decision, that is the party, to send a team. And we embedded a team there for almost a month into the election. They were working together with our regional executives and even training people who were volunteering, because us, Prof. Alabi's team, kept unraveling people who could not be polling agents. And people then began confessing that they don't want to be polling agents again. It meant that shortfalls were being identified very close to the elections. So we had to embed trainers there to be doing that. And the sacrifices of our supporters, amazing. Almost 200 people flew from Europe and North America, their own money, to serve as polling agents in Ashanti region. Their own money. And even when they arrived and we were trying to get them stipend, we said no. So after we finished with all that we had to do, including touring Menchia South, Asawase, Ejiso, going all the way to Pemenase in Grabin, I had not voted. So I had to get to Accra to vote. So on our way, there was another operation that had to also be executed that had to do with encircling the ballot papers that the NPP had destined for ballot staffing. And we had been tracking that for almost 7 months. So after everything, by the time the real action of encircling it was being done, Stan and I were already on the tarmac, saying that you could not enter. So just when the flight was taking off, then we said, look, the body cameras that we had, that was the time. Because we were told that across the country, what they do when they realize voter turnout is low is to begin to vote for people, the deceased, and people who are not shown up and everything. So we said, so I first posted, activate the body cameras. And Stan was sitting by me on the flight. So he asked, what background did I use? And I said, I purple. So he also used purple and posted it. And you know, we have a lot of following. And as for the Flagstaff House, they've toyed with our Facebook pages for some time. It depends on when they want to free us. When they don't want to free us, they'll freeze our Facebook pages and we know our friends there. So we know that sometimes when we meet them, we accuse them directly. So they picked it up, and we now know that even National Security was trying to decode what exactly that was. It was nothing more than the body cameras being used appropriately, particularly for that afternoon all the way to when polls were going to be closed. It was a reminder that our agents had to activate them. It served the purpose beyond our imagination, and people shared it enormously. It proliferated, and we are glad it served the purpose. I believe that in future, to save our democracy, to ensure free, fair, transparent elections, if all political parties can have body cameras in all the polling stations, why not? It means that we can stop MPP, NDC, whoever, from stealing. You understand? Assuming we were able to procure 40,648 on D-Day, and not the limited but very significant numbers that we procured. And because of that, people know they are being watched and they will behave. Democracy will be great.